What I tell people is imposter syndrome it's a thing in your head.
Imposter syndrome is a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon where highly skilled, experienced, qualified, credentialed people have not internalized those credentials or experience, and as a result of that, fear being exposed as a fraud.
The imposter syndrome follows everyone.
The idea of fraudulence and imposter syndrome is that you don't have the skills, you don't have the credibility, you don't have the competence, and that you're hiding it. The result of it is often burnout, exhaustion, a constant feeling of fatigue because they are constantly overworking to cover up this experience of fraudulence. A lot of people say everyone has imposter syndrome. Not everyone has imposter syndrome. The data shows about 70% of people experience imposter syndrome. Now that's not everyone. It clearly is a large amount of people, but it's not everyone. Imposter syndrome is not a myth. It's been studied for more than 40 years in the social sciences. It was discovered by two psychologists in the late 1970s. There is significant amounts of research regarding it. Even if we've never seen it before, it seems really new and recent. It is decades and decades old. While imposter syndrome was initially discovered and explored around women, we have learned since then that imposter syndrome can be found in men, and there's more work to be done to understand it in different gender experiences. There is zero research to suggest that oppression causes imposter syndrome, zero. What we find is correlated deeply to imposter syndrome and to the early experiences of what may be the foundation of imposter syndrome is early childhood roles and family dynamics. When you are a person of color experiencing imposter syndrome, there are additive effects. There has been research to show that when you are a person of color and you experience imposter syndrome, you also have higher levels of anxiety and higher levels of discrimination-related depression. Imposter syndrome is not good for you. There are all kinds of negative correlates to imposter syndrome. Typically, imposter syndrome makes you less happy in your job. It also affects your ability to feel like you can negotiate for yourself because you're just happy to be there. So it does all kinds of negative things that have been shown in the research. The reason you are successful is because you have skills, abilities, credentials, competencies that you are not aware of, that you are having trouble internalizing, but that's the reason why you're successful. The imposter syndrome is not the reason.